Julius Caesar, this video is for you. This is about a rise and fall of a Brazilian dream. Strap in, let's do this. The rise and fall of CBT was really the rise and fall of a Brazilian dream. The story of CBT is one of the most ambitious chapters of Brazilian automotive history. Born in 1960 from a shift of international policies and partnerships, CBT was a symbol of national pride here in Brazil, a symbol of national development. While many other companies were looking for foreign designs, CBT was looking for true national independence. Under the leadership of Mario Lopes, the company really became a titan of Brazil's interior, eventually controlling nearly a third of the heavy tractor market here. These machines were famous for having a true steel frame chassis, and this was a rugged design choice that made them legendary for their reliability in the harsh conditions of the Brazilian frontier. By the 1980s, CBT had gained a almost unheard of integration in the Brazilian market. They did not buy parts, they cast their own engines. They made their own steel, made their own parts, everything from scratch, home built. This fierce loyalty to the Brazilian market became their defining trait. However, as the economic landscape shifted and giants moved back into the landscape like Ford, CBT did start finding itself squished. Getting squeezed. In a bold and perhaps a very desperate move to survive, they decided to leverage their all Brazilian everything, putting all their chips on a Brazilian vehicle for the masses. I think they were looking at Entusiastas, getting some inspiration how Entusiastas' military department was going down, so they released the Entusiasta 4, which was really Entusiastas' lifeline, and CBT was looking at doing the same thing. And they came up with the Javali, the wild pig. And this was a tractor that really wanted to be a Jeep. The development of this wild boar was really a feat of willpower. Launched in 1990 after years of secret development, it was meant to be the ultimate rural support vehicle. CBT didn't look to France to get their design. They built their Jeep, their wild boar, around their own engine design, their own platform, their own 301 German Marks 3-cylinder turbo diesel. Making the Javali the very first Brasileiro factory turbocharged diesel. Thumbs up in the first department there. It was marketed as a rugged, capable, cheaper vehicle compared to what else was out there, you know, trawler, or the very expensive Toyota Bandeirante, or the even more expensive Entusiasta 4. And at this moment, it really captured the zeitgeist of the Brazilian nationality movement. But this public perception was really a double-edged sword, because to the Brasileiro farmers, it was really a hero. It was something they could actually afford. Plus, it had the raw tractor capabilities that farmers in the Brazilian heartlands really needed. Tennessee ain't got nothing on Brasileiro mud. This was really a vehicle that felt like it belonged to the land. And the other edge to that sword was the everyday driver. And the Javali was quite a shock to the senses. You know, it was a tractor basically. The steering was incredibly hard. It was like a physical workout to drive this vehicle. It was exceptionally loud. And on top of being loud and hard to steer, the lack of power brakes was more of a faith of stopping, riding by the seat of your pants, basically. Definitely not a car, definitely a piece of agricultural equipment, with a Jeep body just bolted on top. The tragedy of the Javali, the wild boar, and CBT as a whole was really one of timing. Just as Javali was finding its footing in the Brasileiro market, President Collor opened Brazil up to imports. Suddenly, the national opinion of a rugged, loud, rustic national Jeep was kind of not so appealing when you could get a Samurai Suzuki. The production of the Javali ceased, kaputs, done, no mice, in 1993. The time 95 rolled around, just 2 more years, the once awesome CBT factory fell silent. Doors closed, no mice. Today, the Javali really is a cult classic down here, but you know, kind of more one on the lower scale of the desirability list. It is what it is. It's a very cool vehicle, and at one time it could have really been something, and with its nationality, like devotion to it, the only other company that really had passion for the Brazilian market, that wanted to do something really 100% Brazilian, was the Gorgel company. They were crazy fanaticals about just keeping it all Brazil. So if you guys like what we're doing here, please leave me a comment telling me what vehicle you'd like me to cover next. But like I always say, I'll see you on the flip side. Até a próxima. Ciao, ciao.